Welcome to the Calzone.
How much do we pay him?
Nothing, dude.
It's okay, I guess. It's okay.
Dude, we're here talking today about.
We just had to hit record right now,
right?
Because we were going
That's
off.
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
We're talking about short-term rentals, and what's going to happen to the short-term rental market over the next couple of years. Right?
How many of you are flipping through TikTok and fucking YouTube going,
retire today?
Yeah, look at these guys.
Look at what I did. I bought this with no money, and then I turned around and I bought 5 more. And
so the hit that Airbnb is taking right now is
short-term rentals.
Short-term rentals is taking is pretty crazy, right?
Mm-hmm.
They have so many listings. In fact, this TikTok that I saw, and take this with a grain of salt because it was from TikTok.
He seemed pretty professional.
He had a nice haircut.
He had a trustworthy face.
He said the amount of listings that this short-term rental company had is 350,000 more listings than we have active in any MLS
for sale.
for sale, which is nutty, right? So and he went through the stats on like how many people are not using a short-term rental company anymore when they go to a town. Use a hotel, dude. That's what they're there for.
Yeah, and it ends up being cheaper a lot of the time.
Dude. The reason.
So yeah,
those companies were
we
huge,
love using short-term rentals, but as in the business,
short-term rentals.
We think that this is our opinion, right? Our opinion that the short-term rental market is going to have a big problem and is having a big problem.
It's
right now.
currently happening.
So yeah, what's happening and why is it happening? I think that's.
And then I think the bigger thing is like try and project how it affects us, and that's where we get into real conjecture, right? Because we don't know how it's going to play out, but we're not going to be the guys on TikTok. Sorry, guys.
Are you getting choked up about this?
Choked up about it? Yeah, no. We're not going to sit here and tell you that the sky's falling. We'll try and take a couple of guesses at directions that this could go.
Well, yeah. I mean, I know from personal experience, I don't use short-term rental companies anymore. I mean, unless it's like wine country or something like that, right? That you're going to. You're going to like Murphy's, dude. Murphy's is a perfect example of this. It's awesome to go into Murphy's because they have 9 hotel rooms, and they fill up so fast. It's easy to get into a short-term rental there, a Vrbo or Airbnb or whatever.
And for me, with a family, like when you've got 4 kids, there is not a hotel room alive that's going to contain that.
Or you get a conjoining hotel room, which is what, $1,000 a night.
Oh yeah. You want to go to Disneyland and you got over 3 kids. 4th kid, 2 rooms, or you got to get a suite. Upsell. Thanks, Disney.
Speaking of Disneyland, we just had a Wall Street Journal article that came out, and that's kind of what prompted some of this conversation, right? I've got a little bit of a contrarian view on this whole short-term rental thing, but right now, I forget the exact stat, but Disneyland's ticket sales are plummeting right now, and what that tells us is that the availability of expendable cash, right, to go on vacations.
People
with
are
families,
tightening the belt.
Right, they're tightening the belt, which means that the short-term rental market is going to see a correction based on that stuff, right? So we've got a couple of different factors, right? So people are not traveling as much, and then we've got all of these cities, counties, HOAs, whatever, right, are getting more strict on some of the short-term rental stuff as well, right? So as a whole, as a whole, right, we're forecasting that we think this is going to go off a cliff.
Well, it's so crazy when you put it like that, Ben, because there's so many different levels to this, right? There's the HOA level, right, where just the homeowners association can say no short-term rentals here. Sorry about it. See ya.
After you've already purchased and you've been doing the short-term rental for whatever amount of time, all of a sudden
blows my mind, right? And I used to be so against it because I'm like, dude, that's your property. You should be able to do whatever the hell you want on it. But
that's not what you signed when you bought into a condo complex,
right, dude? Not even just condos, but like regular HOAs with stick builds, right?
Yep.
And then you've got the city or county level. If you're in the city limits, you've got the city level and the county level to deal with. If you're outside of city limits, which is kind of crazy to have a short-term rental outside of city limits, unless you're in this area where you can go, skiing and hiking and all these sick properties are near there.
Yeah.
So you've got that level that, you're going to have to jump through hoops at.
Yeah.
And then the next level after that is, going to be state, and then, and then you have to have people rent it.
Yeah.
Then you have to have,
then
you have to have the demand.
Yeah, the economy.
And we don't have the demand, and city and counties are going crazy about it right now, trying to pass stuff that's just like, no more of this. This is crazy, especially in places like Tahoe, and I don't know what's going on in Phoenix, but I know every time I go down there for a bachelor party, we tear those houses apart. So, dude, I'm gonna have to change my email address on my Airbnb account. So
yeah, you just definitely got banned.
But you know what I'm saying, dude. There's so many levels to it that it's an uphill road for these guys, for these short-term rental companies over the next couple of years. But to add to this, dude, the amount of landlords, short-term rental landlords, the people that own these houses, the people that bought these houses in Old Northwest or, Old Sparks because they're close to the concert venues, or, anything like that, or Old Southwest even, or Midtown, they're gonna, if something happens, if they're not paying for their mortgage doing this short-term rental stuff, they're gonna have to make a change. One of those changes that's been popular lately has been, longer short-term rentals. So like 31 days, have to be in there for 31 days. So you're talking about stuff like traveling nurses and stuff like that, which is okay for a little bit, but dude, check out the website, furnished.com or something like that. We're talking about, where the house is completely furnished and you can rent it for 31 plus days. The listings on that right now are bonkers. There's so many listings on that. I don't think it's getting much traction. I have a client who put their house on that website. Yeah. Not getting much from it, which means there's not a lot of demand still, even in that area.
That's a tough market too, right?
For sure.
You're looking at like, hey, I just need a place to live for 2 months.
Right. It was dope during COVID because these Bay Area guys were like, screw it, I'll go live in Nevada for 3 months.
Yeah, I'll go ski for December, January, and then I'll come back to the Bay.
But now with just that one company having over 350,000 more listings nationwide than what we have listed nationwide, blows my mind, because if those landlords start to sell, wow, dude, the prices are more attainable for buyers. Amazing stuff can happen.
Yeah. I have a little bit. Sorry, I've been holding on to this for like 2.5 minutes. Since
me too. I had to stand up for this.
Right?
Sorry, guys. God, just cut me off.
Sorry, dude. But God, get it out, okay? No, I don't think it's all doom and gloom, honestly. At least in our area, I really don't. Yeah. Because the way that the owner pivots, there's going to be a demographic in the short-term rental space that is like, I bought my short-term rental with a 7% interest rate. I need to make X amount of dollars just to clear the mortgage every month. And if they can't do that, they're going to have to sell. Like, if you can rent it out on a long-term basis for $3,000, but you got to pay $3,500, that person might end up selling for your mortgage, right? I think all of the people that 18 months and before then, going back 18 months before then, those people that bought in and they had short-term rentals, at least the guys that are smaller investors, they're going to be able to pivot and switch over to long-term rentals, and that actually might help ease the housing market here, ease the rental.
I'm going to cut you off. It's my turn.
I think I'm totally with you, though.
Yeah.
To go a little bit more contrarian on this thing, okay? I think this is my warning out there for people on this, and again, this is my personal opinion, and I may be completely wrong on this, but
Ben, is this your personal opinion?
these guys went out, right? So what you're talking about, the 7%ers, right? They're they're in a 7% mortgage. And the warning that I have for you guys, right, is because I see this stuff on YouTube all day. These guys, go out and buy short-term rentals. They're making 20 to 30% returns, right?
Yeah.
So they have to have, a certain amount of days rented to just cover the mortgage, and then plus, right, to get into profits. What these guys are doing is they're buying one, they're taking out the equity, they're buying the second one. So what you're talking about, I would say on the majority of these things, they're unable to do because they've got a second on it or because they've pulled equity out of it. So my fear is that we're going to have this dump on the market, which isn't necessarily a bad thing because it will bring some of the prices down, right? That's going to be a good thing for the buyers out there. But, they've got, 1, 2, 3, 4 of these things that are all tied together.
Dominoes.
Yeah.
I mean, one thing I will say on the investment end, when they're pulling out equity, when you do that on an investment property, 75% LTV. So you still have to have 25% equity, right? So they're not, doing anything like in 2007 to 9 where it's like, oh yeah, like I own the home and I have $0.
I don't think there's
in
enough
equity.
of them out there to crash the market like what you're talking about. But if we have this dump on the market, right, there could be a little bit of a correction in pricing.
Yeah.
Right. Because they can't cover the mortgage anymore on a short term. They turn a short term into a long term to try and save face. They can't make the mortgage.
God, what a welcome problem that would be, right?
How
If
fast?
it's like,
does
hey
this
guys, we
happen?
have so many homes coming onto the market. What are we gonna do?
That's what I'm saying. How fast does this happen, right? Because
I think it's a
not
slow
just
bleed.
Yeah.
right. It's not just the short-term rental companies, like the ones where you list the property. These are owned by hundreds of thousands of people, different landlords, right? So
And it's going to vary based on their financial position.
Right. It's not
and,
just
like,
going to be like, whoops, shit.
Yeah.
everyone's putting them on the market. And
here's 500,000 new listings.
Yeah.
Have at it.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's gonna.
I don't think it's going to be.
And in a market like ours, it's going to get absorbed, right? In a market like ours, it's going to get absorbed. In a market like, I don't know.
San Antonio?
I don't have a good example, but there could be. It's just like the market as a whole, right? It's impacted differently in different areas.
Right. Yeah, it's going to be. I mean, if nothing else, it's going to be interesting to watch that over the next few years.
Yeah. I just want to kind of heed that one.
Thank God, because the past few years haven't been very interesting at all.
These guys are making it sound really, really, really good. And it looks really good.
It looks really good, dude. Yeah. And I think if you can make it work, dude, make it work. Yeah. But who knows how long that's going to work for.
Yeah. I mean, it's like,
Do we have any questions from Nico?
Those guys on TikTok are like the short-term get-rich guys. What is it with real estate? Don't wait to buy real estate. Buy real estate and
wait.
Buy real estate and wait. It's not a short-term deal. It's the long game.
True, dude. They still own that house.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Nico? All right.
Cool. We got the thumbs up.
Signing out.